Darkness swallow my sight. Endless miles no end in sight. Engines screaming, souls collide. Lost on this nightmare ride. Concrete serpents turning cold. Gravel secrets tales untold. Highway ghosts they haunt the lane. Echoes of my fear and pain. Concrete serpents looking cold. Gravel secrets tales untold. Highway ghosts they haunt the lane. Echoes of my fear and pain.
Every time.
Hey everybody. Damn it. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Nightmare Road. Of course, I am one of your hosts, Econ, here with the very, very mysterious
SOS, and here with the Oracle.
Ash, and I am here with the dark and lovely.
Messy the Jessie. And
Oh,
you guys,
jeez.
I'm so excited. Okay, calm down, Deacon. I am so excited
What am I doing?
to introduce my lovely, beautiful Cam to our show.
Hi, Cam.
Yeah. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay. SOS, are you trying to drive off the Grand Canyon in a convertible?
Oh, this? Yeah, thanks. I'm all bruised from surgery, so
Oh,
I'm still
okay.
hiding.
Okay, so who's Thelma?
But
Are you Louise?
I could be. I could
Okay.
be. I always found her to be a little bit more masculine. So I think if I were to identify somebody, I think it would be Louise. I think also she has like a very broad shoulders that I would love to have. So yeah, I
Who?
guess so.
Who are we talking about?
So you like Brad Pitt?
Am I like what?
Like,
You like Brad Pitt?
No, Brad Pitt likes me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, okay.
Well,
Oh, thanks.
I'm pretty jealous of that relationship,
Right.
but that's cool.
I'm not.
that's accomplishment.
He throws wine at me on a plane, so I'm not. Don't be
Oh,
jealous.
yeah.
Didn't he do that to Angelina Jolie? Didn't he throw wine on her on a plane and like yelled at
I
her
have
kids?
wine in here. That would
You
hurt.
put it spicy.
I would too. Jeez. But
Wow.
especially for
Okay.
the movie Salt, I would have thrown the wine bottle at her. Anyways, so what is what? So what's the topic?
we're doing ghost stories.
Oh, nice. Okay,
Yeah?
I got it.
Do you got some?
I
Do
do.
you have
actually.
some ghost stories?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you do?
Cool.
Oh,
Okay.
Who
Okay.
wants
That
to
is
go
awesome.
first?
So how are we starting? Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. How are we starting?
well, Cam, do you want to give us some of your ghost experiences as well as some of your abilities?
Yeah, I can start. If you want. Do you want me to start right at this second?
Right? 1, 2, 3.
You guys have the same mannerisms.
Yeah.
So,
Weird.
It's kind of
Let's see.
weird.
isn't it
I
like
know.
A little bit. I don't know how to feel. But then again, I was neglected as a child, so I don't have a lot of healthy emotions. that
Oh
I
my
process,
God.
So I process.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
Cam.
here we go.
I will apologize,
Man.
but he's going to get double the dose of Messy Jessie today.
So
what?
my dead sister used to always say, like, hey. Anyways, continue. Sorry, I got off.
Hey, Cam, you may have to speak up a little bit.
Okay, yeah. Is this better?
Mhm.
Okay, I'm a soft speaker. So one of my very first like distinct experiences that I ever had, I was basically like all cozied up, sleeping in my room. I was probably like 14, 15 at the time, and I remember just waking up in the middle of the night randomly, and it just felt super heavy in the room. and I felt like somebody was watching me. So I just kind of like, groggily looked around, and at the like entrance of my doorway, there was like a figure. She was like dressed in 19th century garb, like just a huge gown. Her hair was all done up, like she was legit old. And I remember just thinking that maybe my mom, I was confused, obviously just woken up. I thought maybe it was my dad, because at that time in my life, I loved to sneak out. So they
Mm.
were probably just checking to see if I was in my bed. Uh,
It's fine.
so, but it wasn't. So
Fine.
then I like blinked, I sat up, I'm trying to figure out like what exactly I'm seeing. Did I accidentally take shrooms and forget? I don't know. But turns out it was just a lady, and she just disappeared as I like got clearer vision. And she did come back a couple of times too. And at that point I just was like, it is what it is, and would just fall back asleep.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
Did she
Yeah.
Wow, that's.
did she
Go
say
ahead, Deepa.
anything? Like, did she acknowledge that you were there? Did she like? Were you on
No,
shrooms? No. Oh.
I don't think she said a single thing, but
Oh, okay.
I can still picture her in my brain. So she stuck with me.
Is, do you think that what is that called when there's a haunting and it's just repetitive, like over and over and
Residual.
residual?
Residual. Yeah.
So do you think that's what it might have been, or do you think it was just somebody just passing through?
I would say she stuck around up until I moved out of that house. So I think she might have just been attached to the home itself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so how old were you when it started?
Like 14.
Okay, okay.
And you said earlier that you have abilities, right? Abilities, but
Yeah.
like, what do you call that? Like supernatural abilities, not my ability to make my parents, regret, not leaving me in El Salvador when I was a kid because I embarrassed them at every
Oh,
family function.
I probably have that ability too, but we'll just save that for a different
Oh, that was
day.
your mom.
Yeah.
Or so, what would you call your? Well, I would say, what are my abilities? Well, they used to call me ruiner of hopes and dreams and family photographs. But what would you
Swear.
How what
I swear.
what? What am I doing?
uh,
I'm trying to connect here with our
I
guest, and you're making me
I'm
feel
connecting.
self-conscious.
No, don't feel. I want you. You know what? It's therapeutic for you
Well, I'm
to talk about things in El Salvador.
okay. Okay, first of all, that's not how you say it.
vent about your past, please.
You sound you
Because
just
I love it. Like
you sounded like you were eating something, and then you realized there was an ingredient in there that you're allergic to, and then your throat started to close.
It's-
But anyway, can we get back
Yeah.
on topic, please? This is a very if how is PBS ever gonna pick us up if this is the kind of garbage we're giving them?
Right.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I couldn't roll my tongue. I was like,
I was worried about
Salvador.
not getting kicked off of YouTube.
That's not even
every
in the
week.
right place. Anyways, so
Oh,
El Salvador.
okay. That's
Good
beautiful.
job.
Thanks.
Why do I think of El Dorado when I hear that?
That's racist. no, because it's the same, almost the same culture, almost, but not, yeah,
Almost.
almost just a little bit. I'm a cartoon. Anyway,
Yeah.
so how would you describe your abilities?
Mm, that's tough. I would say that I definitely have had the ability to recognize and acknowledge a presence or feel one. I have always had what I thought would be like premonitions too. So my dreams to me, they speak very heavily. I'm not usually one that's like, your dreams always mean something, because I mean, in reality, it's really just your
Yeah,
subconscious
it's just
trying to play with
subconscious.
you. But
Calling
there
you
has
gay.
been instances in which I can like, I'll kind of have a dream about something that will happen, and then it does happen shortly thereafter. And
Okay.
then that's always kind of freaked me out.
How
But then
accurate?
again, it's like, do I really read into it? But,
How accurate would you say that? You know, like let's say that you're
uh,
at the store and then somebody drops like a jar of tomato sauce in your dream and people slip and they fall. It looks like a John Woo film. Everybody's on the floor. And then you go to the store. Would it be like a jar of tomatoes? Would it be pickle? You know what I'm trying to say? Is that?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's not like that. It's not like medium stuff, but it's more like
What did I just walk into?
somebody die.
Pickles.
So for
A jar of
example,
pickles.
my grandfather, so when his death was super unexpected, but I remember having this dream that somebody really close to me is gonna die, but I couldn't quite figure out who. They're always like in vague terms, these dreams, but once I'm in like a real life scenario, I get like that heavy feeling like in my gut and in my chest. And so
Weird.
then I can kind of remember or tie it back together. So then he did die, and I was like, oh, holy shit, that's what that was about. Same thing, like I remember a couple years ago, I had just like this really dark dream about like something long term just ending super abruptly, super traumatically. And then that's, when my marriage fell apart and I got divorced, and it was traumatic and heavy, and they were just familiar feelings from the dream.
Oh, that's really depressing. I had a joke. I had a joke lined up, but I don't
It's
remember.
actually not depressing. It was the best thing that could happen to me.
See, something good came out of it.
See?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's kind of interesting how precognitive things like that are usually honed in onto the negative things that are going to happen our way and not so much the positive, which is weird. I don't know why that happens, but when I have those things, it's not the same thing like, oh, I know who's calling, but I'm saying these big precog events that you have,
Yeah.
mine are usually honed on something very traumatic happening, not necessarily to me, but somewhere. And yeah, it's weird.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're creepy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
yeah.
mean,
Ash, you have a ghost
What's
story.
that?
You have a ghost story all
Oh,
teed
yes,
up.
I do. So,
ta-da.
yeah. Well, when you said old-fashioned ghost stories, I kind of just took old and ran with it. And if I cut out, I'm sorry, the internet in this room sucks. So forgive me now.
It's like all about
So you're
nursing
saying don't
homes.
shake the jar
No,
of dirt?
put your jar of dirt
Yeah,
outside
Jar dirt.
for 45 minutes, Jesse. Just put it away. Just,
Okay.
Yeah, don't shake it
that's
around.
it.
Like you
Sorry.
did that one time. That one time you shook the jar of dirt so hard, I'm like, testosterone
I
level
got
He
it.
can't even talk because it scared him
sorry.
so bad.
Well,
I
you
know.
gotta say
It's
phenomena.
like the haunted dolls.
Hey, you leave them alone.
Keep them out of this. Let's not bring them on.
Want me to get them?
No,
Yes, I love the haunted dolls.
Okay, I'll be back.
Ta-da.
no.
Are
Anyway,
you?
so
Let's ask SOS. Hey, Red Baron, should we get the
do you want him to bring out the doll?
dolls?
Can you leave the damn dolls alone?
See, and there's
Okay,
that.
fine.
Why do
See?
I ask?
I don't know why you
Yeah,
asked
no.
either.
I guess leave Ursula
Red
in her
Baron?
spot.
What the hell?
No, that's not her
Huh?
name.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wrong person.
It's Melissa and Chloe. Ursula
What?
is a cheap prostitute.
Wait, what is her name?
Something's so wrong with this. So
Ursula!
wrong.
Hey, Ursula.
I'm really thrown off right now.
No,
Okay.
no. The names of the dolls is Chloe and Melissa.
That's just creepy.
They both have human hair.
Oh,
It's super
very
disturbing.
No, it's nice.
It is
the sentiment,
disturbing.
the sentiment behind the haunted doll, where
True.
they believe that
what?
when one of your children passes, you can actually have them inhabit one of the dolls, so they never leave.
I would really rather my
That's why-
children not do that.
Well, I mean, geez, it's gonna be a party.
Well, it's no different than in the Victorian era where they used to take the hair of the dead person and do a
Yes.
wreath.
Yeah, exactly. It was
Yeah,
creepy then
that's
too.
so creepy as fuck.
Well, maybe for you, bro. Maybe for you, bro. Not me. So
I'll keep it.
anyway, so there's a there's a theory out there that if you're afraid of dolls is because and yeah, that we covered this in one of the episodes in the past.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, if you're afraid of dolls is because in the past life your soul was trapped. So it was like
Yeah,
your
no, I
prison.
don't believe that. I just
I
think
mean,
they're
I'm
creepy.
claustrophobic and scared of the
So-
dark, so it makes sense.
What if somebody's afraid of a different kind of doll?
What do you mean?
Oh.
Elaborate. You don't bring
I
in.
don't know what kind of doll you're talking
Okay,
about.
don't bring in my Antonio Banderas blow up doll on this.
Okay, I'm just asking you a question.
I didn't wanna-
generally
I didn't want to say
from
that.
the heart.
I don't want to say that on camera and be embarrassed. See what you
Jesse
did?
said
Now
it for you.
humiliated me.
I'm just
Like an embarrassment.
Yeah, now I'm embarrassed in front of all 9 people that watch the show.
Can we make this into
Anyways,
a
I'm
short
sorry.
so I can post it, please?
Yes,
I'm not-
okay. All right.
Wouldn't be that hard. I'm 5'6". Okay, so next story. Who's got a story? I got one actually.
Ash
Well,
was
Ash,
telling
you
her
trying to
story
go
was
before
gonna
me?
tell-
I didn't know.
because he wants to get off
You
of
come
here.
back on the show
I
and
hurt
just
his
act
feelings.
like you're just, I'm going before everybody. That's not okay.
Yeah, just
I
go.
have to make up for lost time.
No, go ahead. Who cares? Who am I?
Okay.
Okay, Ash, what you got? You want me to share your picture yet?
Not yet.
Wish I died of yellow fever as a baby.
Can we
Okay.
shush? Can we mute him? I'm just kidding.
You're gonna
Okay.
win
No.
the First Amendment right? How dare you?
I'm gonna
I fought for this
I'm
country.
gonna
Anyways.
slap you across the face.
Oh, go ahead.
Hey, so
Oh, with the
mine.
story, not with the violence.
Oh my god.
Just keep going.
Just go. Just go ahead.
Mine is the oldest recorded haunting. Okay. So I took the word old and I just ran with it. So the oldest recorded haunting was recorded by a man by the name of Pliny the Younger. Can anybody guess where he's from? No.
Poland.
No. Okay, it's first century AD. Where do you think he's from? Come on.
Pliny the Younger.
Rome.
Let's see.
Come on, people.
Oh, well, so I was going to go there, but then my brain was like, no, let's go somewhere else.
Good job.
Well, Pliny's not a Roman name. I don't even think it's
Well,
Latin.
he's a Roman politician, so apparently it is.
Maybe he
First
changed his
century
name.
AD. It was.
If he had that a politician would have had a title in Rome.
Well, he doesn't. The guy he writes to does, but
Right.
he does not. He's not that cool. Just as politician and
Oh,
writer.
who wrote?
Anyways,
Who's the writer?
so he was a writer, and he wrote it was a book of letters. So there's 10 different books, and each book has so many letters in it. The one that we're going to focus on is from, let's see, it's letter 27 of book 7. So he writes to his friend, and his friend's name is, hold on, I cannot pronounce his friend's names. Lucius Licinius Sura. He was a Roman senator. So he writes to him, and in this letter, he says, I am extremely desirous, therefore, to know your sentiments concerning spectras, whether you believe they actually exist and have their own proper shapes and a measure of divinity, or are only the false impressions of a terrified imagination. Which I kind of found that question kind of interesting in the fact of how skeptics are today. They kind of say ghosts are a figment of your imagination. They're not real. That's just how they are. So it's kind of crazy how they have the same opinions.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, especially around that time, you had people that were beginning to get away from the supernatural because they wanted to enter the more enlightened age. So, I mean, it's like, so in the book of Hebrews, how it talks about how you have the Greeks, how they seek wisdom, and then the Jews, they seek signs. So you're beginning to have the school, the division right there. I mean, in those ancient times, like you're beginning to have two ways that are partying.
Makes sense.
People that are seeking for wisdom, they want more answers. And then the people that are like holding on to signs, which is anything like miraculous, anything supernatural, anything, So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all that he's asking these questions, especially if he's an educated man.
Well, yeah, a politician writing to a senator asking that, that's kind of wild.
Yeah, but anyways, sorry, I'm pondering too much in this damn.
Anyway, so his first
Yeah,
ghost story goes like this, and I'm just going to read it word for word because I wouldn't be able to just explain this. So,
Can you put your hand in the air and make a fist while you read this?
no.
Thought I could ask. Whatever.
Whoops.
Jess can do it for me. How about that? Wow.
Nope.
Anyways, so the story goes, and keep in mind this was written in 1st century AD, so wow,
Oh my God.
really?
That got
What?
me. That was good.
Back to the ghost story. Anyways,
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
he says in this letter, what particularly inclines me to give credit to their existence is a story of which I heard of Curtius Rufus. When he was in low circumstances and unknown in the world, he attended the newly made governor of Africa into that province. One afternoon, as he was walking in the public portico, I don't know. He was extremely daunted with the figure of a woman, which appeared to him of a size and beauty more than human. She told him she was the tutelar genius that presided over Africa and was come to inform him of the future events of his life, that he should go back to Rome, where he should hold office and return to that province, invested with a proconsular dignity, and there should die. Every circumstance of this prophecy was actually accomplished. It is said further that upon his arrival at Carthage, as he was coming out of the ship, the same figure accosted him upon the shore. It is certain at least that being seized with a fit of illness, though there were no symptoms in his case that led his attendants to despair, he instantly gave up all hope of recovery, judging, it should seem, of the truth of the future, part of the prediction by that which had already been fulfilled, and of the misfortune which threatened him by the success which he had experienced. So basically what they're saying is like this guy was on a journey and he sees this unearthly woman just appear and tell this prophecy to him, and then everything of that prophecy came true. So it kind of reminded me of like those biblical angel stories in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little
A
bit.
little bit.
And he said that it followed him onto like a new
Mhm.
continent.
So I think it was more
Yeah.
he was haunted rather than the place, obviously.
Yeah.
What was the name? Oh, sorry. I was thinking what it made me think about was that in Greek and Roman, where they talk about a guy who takes his fleet and they go to different islands and they're
Oh,
trying to go home. What is that guy's name?
Oh, you mean
I don't know.
Odysseus?
Is it?
Yeah. And how he,
Odysseus
that's what it
from
reminded me of.
That's what I was thinking
Oh,
of. Odysseus.
interesting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
yeah, with Odysseus. That's interesting about Odysseus too, because when you read the story, you have him trying to make the plans to go to this place, and he only wants to go in one direction. But it really talks about how it's not his plans it's not him that's in charge. It's actually the
Mhm.
gods and the spirits.
Mhm.
You know, so you have a journey that should have only taken him 3 years, and it'll take him 20 years. It's been so long since he's been home that no one reckoned, because he looks like shit, right? He's got the beard, he's malnourished, and by the time he finally gets home, also there we have the first ever real encounter with a siren, because the siren song, when they bring you in, it's what you most desire. So
Mhm.
what he was listening to when the siren was calling him was his family and his countrymen telling him to come home. You know.
Yeah, that
Anyway,
makes
so then
sense.
eventually he plugs his ears and everything because he realizes that this isn't real. Anyways, so by the time he gets home, no one knows who the hell he is. His kids are grown up, everybody, and the only individual that recognizes him for who he is actually his dog Argus. Argus is the only one that recognizes him. Everybody else doesn't know who the
His
hell
dog
he
is
is.
like 22 years old.
Aww.
Yeah, apparently.
They lived a lot longer
Well,
back in
yeah,
the day.
yeah. Also because they were probably purebred. No, I'm serious. They were probably purebred, and they were more
Probably ate better.
nowadays. Those probably ate.
Ate actual meat and
Was
not
fair,
dog
Probably.
food.
had- Right? Yeah, not this garbage that we feed.
Yeah.
Why do we allow peanuts? Anyways,
Anyways,
Whoa.
so the
jeez,
second ghost story that he puts in there, it's kind of
Ava Mendez, you stupid bitch.
what?
Oh, sorry.
What?
What?
Okay.
Wait.
Continue.
Internal dialogue.
So the other ghost story that he has in there, it describes this family in this house, okay? And they see an old man appear in like chains and he's being led by another spirit. And so this family is eventually like
Mhm.
driven out of this home. And anybody that came upon this home and inquired about it, everybody told them, no, you cannot live there. This house is not okay. You can't rent it. You can't do anything with it. So this house was essentially just abandoned forever and nobody could live there.
Like the Conjuring house.
Exactly how I felt. We gotta go.
It's
Where?
been shut down.
They
To the
shut it
Conjuring
down.
House?
Yeah, because she got a
By the
DUI.
Huh?
What?
She got a
That's the house.
DUI.
Well, no,
I
no,
don't know.
she wasn't carrying workers' comp insurance, so the state shut her down.
Dumb
Oh.
bitch.
What was the?
So-
But why?
Oh, I was thinking of the house or the Amityville Horror. Do you remember
Amityville Horror.
how they ended up basically telling people that if you go to that house, you're gonna get fined because the people were receiving like too much harassment. People were showing up
Yeah.
because
I think they changed
when
the
Ed and Lorraine
address.
Warren. Yeah, I think that when Ed and Lorraine Warren, when they were talking about the house, they basically gave the address in one of their, and then everybody
Yes.
started going, Ed and Lorrain.
Yes.
It's like the Goonie
Oh,
house,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
Not
I
a
wish I could
fan. That was
bring them back to life. Just gonna beat the shit.
Sorry.
That was
show.
perfect.
No,
She
what?
did the truffle shuffle.
Oh, I missed it. I was lost in
Oh,
thought.
dang.
You do
I
it
guess
again?
you'll have to rewind.
Yeah.
No. One and done.
You're just gonna have to rewatch the show.
Yeah, no, that's that's what my mom
Along
said
with
to me one
9
time.
other viewers
Yeah.
that we have.
She accidentally told me she loved me because she thought I was my older brother, and I was like, "Can you say it again?" She's like, "No, it's one and done."
All of a sudden, Joe Dirt comes to mind.
Oh Lord.
Can we continue, please? I'm over here bearing my soul, and that's just.
You guys, are you?
No, I'm used to it. I mean, I understand my role in the show. I come in here just to get verbally and emotionally
You're
abused.
fine.
I just randomly have things that pop in my head. It's like, oh, just say. I have no filter.
Fine.
It's okay.
So,
You want-
are you business in the front and party in the back?
Who's he talking to? Oh! I don't. Should I take my pants off?
Yeah,
What?
I'm really sorry. What's happening?
Oh, I didn't understand the question.
Whoa, what's
So-
going on?
Wrong show.
Wrong show. God, I have to tell
That's
you
for
that
your
all the
OF
time.
account.
That's.
Oh.
I was gonna say Patreon, but okay.
Never mind. I'm not
Yeah.
going there.
I don't even know why we try to be serious
either.
anymore.
You're embarrassing me in front of Cam.
Oh no.
Probably heard stories.
She's like,
Watch that
this
show.
ain't nothing.
I'll just blackmail you later. It's okay.
Can we
Fine.
continue, please?
Okay, SOS, you can pull up the picture now.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the oldest drawing of a ghost. I don't know why, I don't know how they think it's a ghost, but they do. So Jess,
Yes, me.
just stop it. So this is a picture
Tune,
of a
Jess.
spirit
I'm
being led in chains by another spirit, Jesse. God damn.
Oh my god.
That's like
just so emotional. This looks great.
What?
that looks like a perverted picture. That guy's so old, he witnessed that whole thing.
You know, that guy reminds me of like the never-ending story. The guy, you know,
Oh,
that comes
Majestic
out of
Falcor?
yeah.
That creature that the
Oh
fucking
my
kid rides on?
god, I can't.
No, but you know, when he goes into the bucket and he's like, "Get in the bucket," and then he falls down. What?
He looks like a disgusting Dr. Seuss character.
Well,
He actually
there's a
looks
lot of
like my old
resemblance to
science
somebody I
professor.
know. Huh?
He looks like my old science professor.
I know,
Where
huh?
did Ash go?
Was he
I
was,
shook the
His
jar
son
of dirt
put it
apparently, and
away.
was he a
I
pervert?
don't have it.
Now you're back, Ash.
This is not
How
dirt.
do we know?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Why would I drink
this
dirt?
is the oldest drawing of a ghost. It's not dirty, Jesse.
I wasn't thinking.
Anyways. So in 2021, this guy, Dr. Finkel is his name.
Of course that's his name.
Finkel?
He also looks like
It just keeps getting worse.
he looks like he tickles his students after they
Oh,
get like 100% on
my
a test.
God.
Hey,
Well, actually, he just reminds me of somebody that I know. It's weird.
Does he look like me?
Did I not predict this? Did I not predict this?
I love you. Jesse, you're just the best.
Is that me in 10 years?
Approximately 5
Just holding up,
5 to 6.
just holding up ancient pornographic material.
Yes.
Do whoever
Can
will pay
we
attention to me on the
get
side of a
on with
wall.
So he is the curator of the Middle Eastern Department, a British museum. And so when he discovered this, he was looking at it from like a certain lighting, and that was how he saw the outline. So that's where I'm like, okay, well, how do they know it was a ghost? But they say that they translated it. And so when they translated it, it translated into some sort of ritual, and it even had a magic spell in it, but the spell is incomplete. So that's kind of a bummer. But what's that?
That missing corner there on the tablet is the incomplete part
I
of the
wonder
spell.
if it is. It doesn't say specifically if it is.
I don't know. The drawing to me looks like it's a
But
slave.
see, that's what I thought
Like-
too.
Being, but
I don't know.
I don't
The
know.
drawing to me looks like an extreme version of an escape room. It's like take off your clothes.
I
No.
Get in there.
So it's supposed to be.
You have an
am
hour.
thinking about Imhotep.
It's
Imhotep?
Imhotep.
Imhotep?
Yeah, whatever. Like Egyptian
So it's
stuff.
supposed to be a
Yep.
female figure, like showing the male where to go to the other side, essentially.
Oh yeah, I don't buy that. She wouldn't know where she's going.
Well, the final line
Oh,
of the
shut
text
up.
says, "Do not
Even
look behind you."
go
So
there.
maybe the male was psychotic, and you're not supposed to look behind you.
Or that's the reason why the spell is incomplete, because they're like, she doesn't know where she's going. She's supposed to write down these directions. She didn't write it
The
down because
guy
she had a
never
better
knows
idea.
where he's going. He just won't stop for
Exactly. At
directions.
least we ask for
He
directions.
just keeps driving around town.
No, you
Siri
don't.
has no idea.
You don't ask for directions. You ask for direction when the guy tells you. You're like, you know what? I think I got this, and then you just continue lost in your.
No, it's not how it goes.
Or you don't stop talking, so the person never gets a word in, so they never get out the instructions.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, that was the end of
Well,
mine,
you have to
guys.
stop and let Siri talk to you first.
The
Like
what?
you're asking. I mean, if you're like, "Hey Siri," you know.
Oh yeah.
Hey Siri, and it's like, I'm Alexa.
Don't say those
Oh,
two words
Yeah.
too loud. God.
Hey Alexa, I'm like, why don't you ask that slut Siri?
I don't trust you. Unplugging that thing.
Mine just.
Can we take it off screen? It's like taking up my whole thing.
I unplugged mine.
Oh,
Okay.
And then I don't like looking into the future.
5
There
to
you
6 years.
Yep.
3 years with a bad diet. I'm like the Santa
Okay.
Claus in an abandoned warehouse.
Oh my God. What ghost story do you have again?
Jess, you want to decon?
Oh, me? I forgot. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
you.
had you said
It's
you
your
had
turn.
a story.
Okay, so can you stop? Please?
I'm.
I'm trying to tell my story. I make me feel a little bit.
Who
Anyways, so when I first moved into this beautiful, extremely old, shitty home, I had
Sorry.
fell? Is it here or at home?
no. So when I first moved into this house, I had this dream that there was this old man, and he was just wandering around the room, and I was, "You okay? Are you having a stroke?
I'm good.
Who?
Should we get an EpiPen?"
Jess.
EpiPen.
EpiPen. That'll help.
Like do it like
I'm just smiling. I'm
in your
enjoying
eye?
your story. I'm enjoying your story.
Now
You
I'm
may
feeling
continue.
ridiculed.
No, I'm really. My nose itches. I'm sorry.
So it makes you look at me with disapproval.
No, I'm
My
not.
mother.
Continue.
You look like Robert De Niro when you do that.
Who, her or
She's
me?
so Jesse. Sorry.
You're just
Me or her?
messy Jesse.
What's wrong with you?
The circle of trust. Let's.
Anyways, so can I continue my story?
Go.
Yes, please.
So, okay. Damn it. So, anyways, so I had this dream, right? This elderly gentleman, right? I don't like the guy in that picture. Oh, my grandfather. Here's a quick story. So, when my grandfather was dying,
Minute. Did you just jump stories?
I said, let me tell you this story real quick.
Oh God, I'm on pain pills. You can't move that fast.
It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, wait.
We need to also
Okay, go ahead.
we need to also talk about conspiracies. We haven't done any conspiracies on this channel. I would like to talk about the conspiracy of Amelia Earhart, how they believe that
Right now.
she was kidnapped by the Japanese, but the Japanese probably thought that she was like the Red Baron pizza guy, so they kidnapped her. Anyways,
Anyways.
Oh my god. The
Yeah,
house.
Your
and
ghost
the old
story,
man.
your house. Yeah.
no. I was telling a story about my grandfather.
Okay.
I said, hold on, let me tell you this quick story. If you were paying
Okay, well, I
attention.
didn't hear the hold on part.
Okay. Go on.
Go ahead.
Why am I here?
No, I just got really
Would you
confused
just
for a second.
go?
I wasn't sure what.
Okay, so
Just go on.
when my grandfather was dying, it was my dad, my brother, me, a couple uncles, and he was. I might have told the story before. He was just laying in bed, and he was breathing deep, and he wouldn't stop, and it was like 20 minutes, of doing this, and we're like, damn. And then I leaned over to my dad, and I was like, I think if I put a pillow over his face, this will go a lot faster. And I was 11, by the way. So then he started laughing so hard, he died. He laughed so hard that he took a deep breath and then just died.
Your
And
grandpa?
then,
Glad that you can help him cross over.
yeah, and then my dad looked at us and he's like, well, all right, let's go finish. We got work to do. Oh yeah,
God.
it was cold. Yeah, I got another story real quick about my father. My father's a funny guy. So, in El Salvador, when I was a kid, we were painting this wall, and we had a cousin who was having a lot of stomach issues, right? And he was always holding on to his stomach, and he was up on his ladder, and he was climbing this tall wall, and he was painting, and then he grabs onto his stomach. Turns out it was appendicitis, by the way. He grabs onto his stomach, and then he just falls off the ladder, and he falls, and he hits the ground. And my dad looks at me, and he's like, "Fuck," like, and he's looking at it, and he goes, and he's looking at him, and he's not okay, obviously. And he looks at me, and he's like, now we're gonna have to paint that wall.
That's so wrong. That's so wrong.
That's just
Wow.
That's just how he is. He was so basically like, puta mira, no, ahora tengo que pintar esta pared. That's how he said it.
Andale.
Anyways,
Yeah.
so back to my story.
Mm-hmm.
So
So now we're back to
anyway,
the old man in your house.
yeah, now we're
Got it.
the old man.
God.
Okay. Thanks.
So he was just
Dash.
wandering around in the room, and in my dream, I was kind of like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he was just wandering around the room like he was Joe Biden after a speech, just confused. So he.
That's funny. Oh God.
Anyway, so he was wandering around, and I was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he says, "I can't find my cane." And what's
Anyway.
fucking pain pills? See, this is why opioids in America. So I said, "What did it look like?" Right? I said, "What does it look like? I help you find it." And he's like, "Ash, the Oracle."
It's making me bust up right now.
I am sitting here listening to your
I promise
story.
I'm listening.
Thank you, Messi. You know what? Whenever I look for somebody, it's like, you know what? This person is a rock of support, and you're
Definitely
always
can.
there. Yeah, you're always there because I never feel judged. I never feel criticized, and I feel safe. So, anyways,
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
all right. You know what? I'm trying to give you a fucking compliment.
Thank you.
And
Oh, thank
whatever.
you.
No, shut up. Whatever.
It's okay. Okay,
Yeah,
continue. I
continue.
would love to hear more of your story.
That's why I hate women.
No, you do not. That's why you have Ursula.
Nah, how dare you. She got deported. So he describes the walking stick, right? And he's like, well, it's a stick. It's got electrical tape wrapped around the handle. SOS. Did
She okay?
you die?
You on LSD?
I'm beginning to think so. Gee, I'm never gonna get the story out. This is ridiculous. It's like when I asked my parents for a compliment, like, what do you guys most love about me? And they're like, anyways, so
That's really
he was like, it's got electrical tape around. It's got, no, it's, if you met them, you'd be like, who cares? They're jungle people. I call them jungle beans. Anyways, so it's got electrical tape wrapped around the handle. It's made of wood. It's got a curve to it. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. So I wake up, right? Like a couple days later, there's an abandoned chicken coops on the property. And I was like, man, these coops are still in really good shape. If I just clean them off and I just do all these things. So then I I take a hoe, like the tool. I didn't say like yeah. So I took this hoe, right? Yeah, come here, come come here, Misty. No, so I took this hoe and I'm beginning to like unearth the dirt so I can get up all the stuff and then just throw it out there and compost it. So as I'm doing that, I hit something solid, and then I pull up this walking stick that's got electrical tape wrapped around the handle, and it was just buried in the damn goop. And I was like, oh, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So that's it. That's my story.
Uh,
It's
pretty wild.
no, it had a strong. It's like me when I perform certain things. You start off strong, and in the end, there's like no payoff. You're like, what? What?
It,
Nothing.
Nothing.
I'm
Can I
good.
can I finish that thought,
Yeah.
please? So
Yeah,
Please do.
yeah,
you're
please.
good.
like so when I was finishing this chicken coop, I built a new one out of pallets, and I started off strong. I mean, I had all these things I was setting up, and then towards the end, you could just tell that I got bored with the project, and it's just man, it's like at this point you quit giving a shit. I do that a lot with lots of things.
Stupid chickens.
Yeah, well, yeah, dumb chickens. You can tell if they get malnourished. I'm kidding.
Oh my god.
Maybe that's why I'm fixed. My parents were right.
Oh my god.
Anyways, can I tell one more?
Please.
Feel free.
I don't even know by now.
Oh, never mind.
It's
There you go.
fine.
No, it takes
Yep.
one person. You're as strong as your weakest.
Wow.
Yes. I am the weakest link. Goodbye.
I hated that lady. I would have called it Ron Weasley.
What?
Poor Ron.
So, fuck that. So when I was a kid,
Agree, I hate Ron.
yeah, who doesn't? I mean, I hate just like Harry Potter in the book. Everybody's like, oh, it's the guy, and this is the dude, and everybody treat him well. And then in the later books, everybody started treating him like shit. It's almost like they realize he sucks. It's like when I was a kid. It's just like when I was a kid and we used to play sports, and in the area that I lived in Van Nuys, it was predominantly Black and Hispanic kids, right? So one day we got one white kid, right? And then I was looking at this kid, and I'm like, damn, I see action movies. I'm picking that guy. And then, so I picked him for the team. We're playing kickball. And like halfway through, he stops and he gets his inhaler. And I'm like, this guy sucks. And I was confused. It's the same thing with Harry Potter. He's just asthmatic. Anyways, so when I was a kid,
You know who
Yes,
the
it's
most
so
powerful wizard was? Was the bottom dude.
The bottom dude.
what bottom
Yeah,
guy?
Ronald. What?
Who's the
Wait.
bottom?
Oh wait,
Wasn't it?
something long bottom, right?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Oh, Neville.
Who?
Yeah, Neville.
Neville
that
was
guy.
the best.
Oh,
You don't want to mess
Yeah.
with him.
No.
He may look innocent.
He also looks like he has diabetes. Like he probably like fling his diabetic
He
blood
will
on you.
still fuck your shit up.
Anyways, he also looks like if you visit him at his house, he's got like bodies in his basement.
That's not weird.
He's give Ed Gein head.
He's like, oh yeah, Harry Potter, come over my house, Harry Potter. Look at this. Anyways, so when I was a kid,
Put the
When
lotion
I
on
was
the
a kid-
skin.
have you gone over to see Big Ben?
Oh no!
Oh boy.
How about a rematch for the Revolutionary War?
Oh, God.
and so South came in second place. So when I was a kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can I tell this story, please? I think I told
I'm
this.
listening.
I think I told this story in one of the past episodes.
Sure.
So when I was a kid, I went out one. Anyway, the point is, I went out one night and I noticed that there was this woman, and she was wearing like white clothing. This is like 11 o'clock at night, and this is an area where they didn't have electricity in that area until 2014. Think about that. They still don't have running water. You have to go to a well and then fill up.
Do they
So-
have flushing toilets?
No,
Mm.
no,
Mm.
no flushing toilets. Literacy rates are actually, I think, are like 40%.
That's
Um,
crazy.
no, it's not. It's the third world
I
country.
need a flushing
Well,
toilet.
I know, but I mean, I don't know if I can
Well,
make it.
the thing is that water is such a precious thing. Why would you? What was that meme that said, "You guys mean to tell me you guys have so much clean water? You guys piss in it?" You know. So,
Yep.
anyways, back to the story. This was like 11 o'clock at night. There was no. It was dark. We had a candle. I remember we had like a little candle holder thing, and we were walking because we were going from my uncle's house to my grandmother's house. So we're in the dark. There was this woman. Well, I was really young too. So I probably would have found her attractive. Like, look at those hips. Anyways, but I was a kid, so I did it. So there was like a woman. She was like wearing white, she had, like this long black hair, and it was just dark. It wasn't messy, just so it was like long dark hair, and she was just standing there. And then my older cousins, I remember they were kind of like standing there. I'm like, what? You know, kind of like how I talk to you guys. What's going on? You know. So they're just kind of standing there, and they start walking towards this thing, and it's kind of like walking. It's like walking backwards. They're kind of following her, and I remember my dad had heard. He said that he was hearing dogs howl and all kinds of animals, kind of making noises. So he's like, "La ciguanaba sounds." So he went out with a flashlight and he finds us, and he takes out his machete. Right? So it's gonna sound stupid. I look back now and it's stupid. So he takes out his machete. So he has his machete. He's walking like in front of my cousins. He like steps in front of them, and then he just puts the blade to his teeth, and he makes that little sound with the metal, and this thing just kind of backed off and it just vanished. And he's like, "Now we can keep going." So, and then that was it. So then, many years later, and at the time, I didn't understand what was going on. And then he told me, he's like, "Do you remember that one?" Actually, that's not how my father speaks English. The way my father speaks English is, he goes, "Do you remember that one time? One time when you were a little boy." Yeah. Tell me. And sometimes if he gets going, then I get going. You know. So he was like, "Remember that one time when you were a little boy?" And I was like, "Yeah, I remember. What's going on?" He says, "That time with the candle and everyone." I'm like, "Yeah, tell me." So he ends up telling me, that was La Ciguanaba, and that she was pulling in my older cousins that were teenagers because she was going to lead them off a cliff and kill them, because that's what she
That
does.
almost sounds like
And
La
taking the
Llorona.
machete, in a way, yes, but the story is
Almost.
completely different, and La Llorona will steal your kids. This thing will steal men,
Oh, yeah, I guess.
and
Yeah.
kill them. Because she was a stupid whore, and she was punished by... No, I'm serious. Like, the word Siguanaba comes from the old Nahuatl language. So Nahuatl is an ancient language, right? So the word Sigua means woman, Sigua. And then the word Naba means horrible or ugly. And so with those two words together, and that's basically by giving her this name, the god... Should I tell the story about how she became what she is?
Go for it. This is
Not next time?
interesting.
Okay, so there was... The story goes, back in the days when the gods, the Mayan, and the Nahuatl, and the Techocal people lived in the city, the gods would interact with people. They would come down, get their offerings, normally in the form of a sacrifice, and then they would leave. And they say that the god Tlaloc one time came down and he saw this beautiful peasant girl, right? And the way it's described is she had long, long, flowing hair, and she looked like she can bear many children, which nowadays that's really hot, right? You're like, damn, that girl can birth a litter of kids. So,
Ew.
anyways, so I'm kidding. So he fell in love with her, right? And he's like, "You are gonna be my wife." So he would come down and he would visit her, and he would bring her gifts. He would bring her jewelry. He would bring her food. He would bring her all kinds of things. Once a month, he would visit her. When he came down to get his offering, he would visit her and he would lay with her. and then he would leave. And then there were other gods that were kind of more involved with people, and they were like, "Did you know that she's actually laying with other men in the village?" He's like, "What
Oh,
are you talking
snap.
about?" "Oh, I come and I bring her gifts." So he came a couple days before the moon was ready for a sacrifice, right? So it says he came down and he was looking for her, and he found her in the hut of another man. So her name was Siwawet, which means beautiful, beautiful woman. Siwawet. And he said, now, and also the child that she had in her womb wasn't even his. You know, he was like, this is not even my kid. So he called her Siwanava, horrible woman. And immediately her face became that of a skull, or in some stories, she had like the, the face of a horse skull.
Oh.
And then she was forever to walk the earth. She's like, he said, you go around your whole life seducing men for all of your life, and for all of the remainder of time, you will go around seducing men and lead them to death, for you have put my heart to death that night. So, very romantic, right? And it's sad. So he cursed the child that was in her. He called it El Cipitio, which basically means like cursed boy or cursed child. And then this is a whole completely different story. I could tell that story another time. But he cursed the boy too, the child in her, and he had like his feet backwards, and he was forever charged with, not just haunting people, but also eating ashes for the rest of his.
Ugh.
So,
Gross.
anyways, that's it. That's the story. So they say that that she's so vain that she still goes to the rivers at night, or to pilas. A pila is a place where it's made of concrete, and that's where you wash dishes, you wash clothes, and there's two sections. There's a section that's rougher concrete. They're made out of concrete. They used to be made out of adobe, and you had to like do it, but now concrete lasts longer, you know. So it's kind of angled, and there's like a hole like in the side so the water can drain. And then the pila is the place where all the water is. So you take a bucket, you put your clothes, you put whatever soap you have on there or whatever you're washing it with. You take a bowl, you dip it in the water, and you pour it over your clothes, and then you scrub, you know, and then and you do that in your rivers and all that kind of stuff. So they say that they're called lavaderos. You know, the place where you wash clothes. It's a lavadero. You know, so whenever you go by lavaderos or pilas at night, you can hear the sound of clothes being washed. It's actually not clothes being washed. It's they say it's La Ciguanaba washing her hair. She's in the river, just like washing her hair either on rocks, you know, because that's also how you wash clothes. You put it over a smooth rock, and then that's how you like beat the shit out of your clothes to get the filth out. And she's doing that with her hair, or she's in a pila, basically taking water and pouring it over her hair.
Interesting.
And she's naked. So she's naked. So the man, or she's wearing something that's very see-through. So when there's men out there at night trying to find a conquest, they may be wandering around, staggering drunk, and they see her, and they're like, "This is a woman." And then she may turn around just slightly, and just to give them the hint that she's interested, she may wave them over, and then you immediately hit her. And you're walking towards her, she may drown you in a river, or she'll lead you to the end of the cliff and throw you.
Oh, wow.
And yeah. So she also takes different forms. But that's like the lore is just complete. She may take the form of a child, of a crying child, of an animal, and all these kind of things. So
Interesting.
yeah, that's La Ciguanaba. And I talked about this in the past. I just saw a big mouse.
So random.
And now I'm gonna have to get my right. Anyways,
That's
so
why you got cats.
so they take this so serious that when I was when I was a kid, I remember we lived in a house, and it was normal for family members to live in a big adobe house, and your aunts were there, your uncles were there, and the families were so big that your aunts may be only like 3 years older than you, you know. And so the point was the family's there. The men would rise up in the morning, and they would rise up, and they would get ready for work. They would take their breakfast, and the breakfast was made. I talked about this all the time because I look back, and even though it was a horrible time, a lot of things also like bring back nostalgia and little small things that made me happy as a kid that I look back now. Like, that was so minuscule. I wish I had that that type of romanticism or small things.
Or like certain smells get to you.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
you
like
remember.
a lot of those
Mhm.
things. I think that as we grow as human beings, we have this sense that we need to acquire more and more in life. But I think that when you come to a point in wisdom, when you're like an older person or you're enlightened, you realize that the true goal in life or happiness is learning to let go. You know.
Yeah.
So, anyways, sorry, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, you just went
So
all
back to my story.
sentimental there. Are you
I
feeling
know I'm
okay?
gay. Oh, so anyway, so the women would rise up early in the morning. They would take the corn. They would go to what's called a molino. A molino is a place where you grind up corn to make flour to make tortillas, right? And it was a big millstone. You bring your own corn, uh, put it in this thing, and then the women have to push the millstone to kind of grind it up. So you would do that, and then you have masa, and then you make tortillas with it, and then a nice freshly made tortilla, fantastic. It's nice, you eat beans
Hell
with it,
yeah.
meat, and that kind of stuff. And then just the smell, and then the taste of it that's just fresh. It just came, you know, it's an amazing. It has little burn marks because you have little makeshift ovens, and so the men would go and they would take their breakfast. I would wake up in the morning, and there was tortillas ready, and then there was a cup of coffee, tortillas, a cup of coffee, and a little bit of beans. And that was my breakfast, right? I would go and I would eat. So one day, I remember that I went and the women looked just horrified. The men were still in the house. And I kind of like go out. I'm like, what is going on? Because the men were still in the house, because it was a little dark and they refused to go out. The women look kind of, a little disheveled, whatever the hell it is. So I remember I sit down and I'm ready to get my breakfast and I get my tortillas, and I noticed the tortillas were not fresh. They were kind of a day old. And for those of you that a day old tortilla, especially a Salvadorian tortilla, they're thicker. Um, Look that up. Um, when you reheat it, it's hard, it's gummy, it's
Ew.
disgusting. Right? And
Mhm.
and as a kid, I was so used to having these delicious tortillas, I became kind of a snob. So I told my
Tortilla
grandmother,
snob.
and I
And
said,
that's where the
uh,
slapping tortilla comes in
yeah,
life.
yeah. So yeah. Oh, you don't want to slap somebody with a Salvadoran tortilla, you lose teeth. Especially if it's a day old. um, so I was just so used to having this delicious tortilla. I've never encountered a 1 day old tortilla, and I bit into it, and it was just like, what is this? And I was such a snob because I'm so used to having a great tortilla that I was almost insulting to me. And I look at my grandmother, and I said, mira, abuela, usted le voy a decir una cosa, y usted, ¿por qué me hace esto? Mira, la tortilla está fea, no me gusta. ¿Y por qué me hace esto? I want to know why. Like, why are you doing this to me? Why are you giving me this old tortilla? And my grandmother
What
said,
did I
mira,
do?
yeah, exactly. Why make me sound like Rocky? Hey, yo, grandma. Tortilla. Hey,
Your poor
What did I
grandma.
hey,
do?
hey, I don't know, So anyways, so she said to me, and I'll never forget this. I can live to be 100, and I'll never forget. She says, "Aquí está lo que está. Si no te gusta, no te las comas." She said, "We have what we have, and if you don't like it, don't eat it. That's it. It's done.
Sounds
It's
like
over.
something my grandma would
That's it."
say.
So I remember I'm chewing on this hard tortilla. Might as well be eating, fucking drywall. So, that fucking rat pissing me off. Anyways, so we're walking to school, and my aunt, she's 5 years older than me. So we're walking to school, and then no one will talk about it. I'm like, why are the men still? And then I realized that as soon as the sun came up, all the men are barely getting their stuff, and they're barely getting ready to go. And I'm like, damn, these guys are like a really late start. Like, why? And no one would say anything. So
Mm.
then I was asking my aunt, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, ¿qué? ¿Qué tanto aquí? Y no salimos a trabajar? ¿Qué pasó? So I'm asking her, and she tells me, because all night the men can hear the wailing of La Ciguanaba and the laughter and the scratching along the walls because she knew that the men had to go to work and she was out there ready to take them. So they waited for the sun to come up. So
Oh
the
wow.
culture over there is so serious with these type of things, and I told it before, a factory will shut down and not work for an entire day if they feel like there's a phantom out there that's gonna, so it's just something
Interesting.
that, well, it was never interesting to me. Like, that's just how I grew up. And it was only until, like, I really came back into the United States as a teenager and I realized that I had lost all of that. Like, this culture doesn't have that. And it
Mm-mm.
was weird to me. So the difference between El Salvador and the United States is that here, if you tell people you have abilities of some kind, I'm gonna shoot that mouse. If you have abilities of some kind, and and people look at you like you're ridiculous, and people are like, "What do you
Mm-hmm.
mean that you have abilities? Like you believe in that kind of stuff?" And they kind of ridicule you. In El
Mhm.
Salvador, if you tell them that you don't believe in the supernatural or abilities, they think you're stupid. There's something wrong with you.
I think you're crazy. Well,
Yeah, they think. Well,
mine,
they
where,
legitimately think you're stupid. They'll call you stupid.
yeah.
Estúpido.
I know in Zacatecas, where my family's from, they're super superstitious.
Yeah.
And so if you don't, they're like, you're stupid because if you don't believe in it, you're almost like open yourself up to become a victim to
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So a place like Zacatecas, they have a lot of stories like the old priest that was beheaded, by the Spanish soldiers, and then once a year he's out there, looking for a head to replace his. If they go out there at night on this day, your parents will literally beat your ass. You're like, you stay inside this unless you want to. It's serious.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's just a different culture, and it sucks that our country just kind of,
Suppresses it.
and I kind of get it. Yeah, well, not just suppresses it. I think a lot of people believe more than what they let on. They're just afraid to be ridiculed.
Yeah,
You know,
I can see that.
even I say it sometimes. Like when something happens, I'm like, damn, you must have been
You
really
say
tired.
it all the time.
I do say it all the time. Like,
I'm so tired.
it's just between you and me and the 9 people that list. Well, 7 now, because I made fun of women. And the 7 people. I don't know. It's hard for me to not believe in that kind of stuff because it's just so ingrained. Are you okay
Yep.
there, Ash?
I was just laughing. It's fine.
Okay. Oh, well, thought you were right. Anyways, so yeah, it's just one of those things where I just can't help but believe, or I just can't help but romanticize. So that's it. I'm done with my story. Damn, that was a long story. That was like 20 minutes.
All I keep thinking is like, you threw my name out there as not just coming out of the woods, and I'm thinking if it was me, I'd be like, "Hey boys, there's a Twinkie."
I'm like that poltergeist over there. It's not some Twinkies. They survive a nuclear
Be
holocaust.
like this 300-pound. Where's the Twinkie?
They'll be like, yeah, let's go let's go this way. I don't like it that way.
Yeah. Hmm. Right.
No, and I don't know. Do I believe that these kind of things out there exist? Absolutely. I just think that there's too much of that and too many similarities around the world for it to just be coincidental,
Yeah.
Because everybody has their versions of everything. I've said it many times on the show that a lot of cultures have the version of the black dog.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
you have stories of the black. In El Salvador, it's called el canejo. And it's a big thing too. Like it was something that you're not even supposed to say.
How dare you?
But they have, you find them all around. Well, I mean, geez, I don't really follow this shit. So it's too coincidental. I mean, people say things like, "Well, stories get passed around." It's like, well, if you look at ancient writings, ancient drawings, they have civilizations that haven't encountered each other yet, have the
Mhm.
same stories. Like, how's that? That's one hell of a coincidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all I got. Anybody, anything else?
I'm.
No.
I
we're-
think SOS
Jess,
is
do you
still
wanna tell
trying to
your
catch her
story?
breath from laughing so much.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I don't. Yeah,
Yours
no.
was your daughter's story. Wow.
Well, yeah, and I think didn't you have something else too that happens to you quite frequently? I was just thinking.
Gary?
He has a name?
What?
It's a,
Gary.
Yeah, scary.
Yeah, he does have a name. But he follows me around everywhere. It's not like just in one house. But essentially, he's like a goat man. I don't know what his issue is. But he
I do.
yeah, so
That's an
Gary, I've
issue.
named him because he's been with me for a long time. And usually it's hard to explain, but he tries to like suck me into wherever he's standing. I don't know what it
No.
means.
Interesting.
What do you mean?
I'm just kind of
Like you feel
You
try.
drawn?
does he say?
No, it's almost like he wants to like force me into him. So he's
Oh, okay.
he's very large. I'd say like 7 feet tall. Um, has hooves, looks like a goat man. He's not like a
Jesus.
nice entity, but he will just like I'll wake up and I'll see him and it's just like full panic and it's just more or less like I don't know what he's trying to communicate, but he's really just trying to get me closer to him.
He's not trying to
Um,
communicate anything.
it's weird.
Um,
I don't know what it is,
so
Weird.
but he's there.
there's there's stories of these type of entities that they they don't have to have life force to survive, but it's almost like they get a certain high from it. So they try to, and they latch onto a single person.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of different names, a lot of different forms. A lot of them are if you have a trauma early in life with a child, something scared you, something attacked, then this thing will take the form of that because almost like they feed off fear and insecurity. So, in El Salvador, for example, they have something called el what is it el cuernudo del puente. So it's like the horned thing from the bridge or whatever it is. And this thing they say that takes the form of it takes the form of clothes, of a bowl.
Hmm.
And what he does is he waits for people to walk by and then he kind of waves them over or he charges them. And he kind of embraces you in this thing until you feel like you can faint or you feel like, you have to sit down. Then he just leaves you alone. Then he moves on. And a lot of these entities will find a victim, if I were to say that, like a victim or an individual that has a certain type of either energy or life force that they can survive off of, and they it's like their preference. It's kind of like being a drug addict, and this is your drug of choice.
Hmm.
So they'll follow this person around. It may not be every day. It's just every once in a while when they feel like, damn, like, that's not crazy. They go over it and that's what they want.
Yeah.
And the whole thing, like a lot of them also uh, pretend like they have messages for you. Hey, something to tell you, and it's just to get you close. There's a lot of stories like that. Like for example, the god Pan, had the form of has the shape of a goat. And in some stories, they're helpful, in other, they're mischievous. In other, they say that they drink your life away. And that sounds kind of like what's going on here. This thing wants you close. He wants to. I'm not saying that's what this is, but that's what it sounds like.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
he's
does.
definitely not positive.
Yeah,
Jess, can you see
and
it?
how do you get?
I can't. It's like whatever it is attached to her,
It's
and
personal,
it's a personal
Okay.
thing. Yeah. Yeah.
and one of the ways that you can get rid of it is you first. They say that you have. It's kind of strange. So they say that you strengthen yourself to the point where it tries to take from you. You give it so much that you cause it to vomit, and then by vomit, basically they move on. They go somewhere else because they're like, okay, I can't take from this person because it's gonna overfeed me more, and it's kind of like they're afraid to throw up. As weird as that sounds, like they're afraid
Yeah.
to throw up because almost like they're losing a lot of themselves. So by overfeeding it, by strengthening yourself, you know, and that could be like if you feel like because you could also get it's one of the so they say, and I haven't experienced it, just what I've read and what I've heard. When it's near because it's so personal, so attached to you that you can feel it. It's almost like like
Yeah.
once it calls you. So before that, you can perform a small ritual or a prayer or something to kind of strengthen yourself. Because, like I said, these things rely off of fear, and
Yeah.
insecurity. That's why they take the shape that they do. Because if you wanted to scare somebody, what's the best way to do it? Take a trauma from their life and
Yeah.
then kind of take that form,
Yeah.
emulate that thing, and then you scare somebody. You know,
How long
because
have you been seeing it? That's my question. Like, I know you mentioned it to me before, but when was your first time and how old were you when you seen him?
22. So
Yeah.
what is that? Like 9 years?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been a
Yeah.
while.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and what
That's what
what's
named him.
yeah. Um. So, and the reason why you don't want to name them is because they say that when you have children, there's such a part of you that they can also see these things too. And if you give it a name, they begin to associate with this thing personally too. Like, oh, this is so and so. And then this thing's like, oh, look at this. Now I have something else that can also feed. You know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and it might be easier to scare a child than it is to scare an adult. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and anyways, so yeah, just prepare yourself spiritually, strengthen yourself. And then when this thing comes over, instead of letting it pull you in, you're like, all right, Father, I'm coming to you, taking shit. And well, it's just one of those things. How a lot of people have told stories that when these things almost try to run away from them, like, oh shit, and it's like, hold them in, you grab them, like, no, you're not going anywhere. And then these things, just eventually just leave and they find something, and they can't be destroyed. They just go somewhere else. You know?
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
yeah, that's all I got. Anyway, I'm drunk.
So random.
That's crazy. Huh.
Anyways,
Oh, I thought this was a good episode. It was really
Yeah.
this
interesting.
was a good episode.
Yep.
Even though I
Right.
went off the rails a little bit, sorry.
No, you
It's fine.
what? Who you? Never. So out of character.
No, we don't ever go off the rails. We are so beyond serious. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you, bro. You, bro, not me.
Yeah.
Um,
Cam's going to report and say, don't go on that show.
It's gonna be
That's
like,
what I told-
trust me, guys, you'll be traumatized.
That's what I tell people all the time. They're like, hey, what's this? I'm like, don't watch. Don't. Are you depressed? Like, no. It's like, well, you're gonna be, so don't watch it.
You're gonna be.
Anyways, this was a really good episode.
Sorry.
Our guest.
Thanks, Cam.
And we missed Dirty Birdie.
Yeah.
No.
So, anyways, guys, remember, I guess I'm supposed to say this, like and subscribe. Also shows. So if you know somebody that's, everything's going good for them in life, and they're like, you know what, I don't think I have anything wrong with me, show them the show. Just like, hey, check this out. And then you guys can both get hooked on pills together. So
Are you trying to do a Jerry Springer closing?
take care of yourselves and each other. Wasn't that what it was? The final
Yeah.
thoughts.
Yeah.
To Jerry
Final
Springer.
thoughts from Decon.
Final thoughts from me.
Oh,
What
no.
would be? In life, it is not about how much you acquire. It's when you learn to let go.
Oh, Cam, I'm sorry.
No apologies. It was fun. The stories were interesting.
Especially. So anyways, so yeah, so like and subscribe. Get a shirt, get a mug. I mean,
Oh, we got tons of
Yeah.
new art on right now, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
if you want to, no, it's some idiot makes it.
If you want Ash the
And
Oracle
go to
pillow,
Patreon.
here we are.
So
If you
Don't
want
want one.
Twinkie Lady on your pillow, here I am.
Here I am.
if you want to scare that entity that's been in your house, get a pillow with my face on it, and it just have a face of the worm. Just anyways, so yeah, so anyways, check out the merch. It's what is it? tpublic.com/Nightmare Road. What is it? NRS.
NRS.
NRS. I'm just not a song. NRS. We also have Patreon. You guys can check it out on Patreon. I even tell stories on there. So yes. So I get it. Check it out. Yeah, so stupid. So just go ahead and check it out on Patreon. That's all I got. So remember, guys, to always look at it. Did I miss anything?
Nope.
Nope.
Just look
Okay.
both ways.
Yeah, remember to always look both ways, especially if you find yourselves on an island.